What is going on to all my Marvel MCU zombie fans out there, and welcome back to my channel Movie Files. We are back again discussing and breaking down the latest episode of Disney Plus What If, and we're biting into episode 5, which was titled What If Zombies. What an incredible episode of horror, zombies, Avengers, Infinity War, callbacks, emotional moments. This was an incredible episode, and we will be breaking it all down here in the spoiler review. But before we do so, make sure you're checking me out on all my other social media accounts. If you all are new to the channel, well, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That way you can get the alert from when I drop new content. If you all enjoyed this spoiler review of episode 5 of What If, well, make sure to like and share this review. It really helps out the channel a lot, but I also appreciate the support. And in those comments, let's talk about it all. Let me know, what was your favorite zombie moment? What was your favorite zombie kill? What was your favorite action set piece? And let's talk about the possibility of Marvel Zombies live action. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. But as I say at the beginning of all these reviews, just a friendly reminder that every single Wednesday here on this very channel, we go live 6 p.m. Central Time. Myself and my amazing co-host, who tonight will be Chris, as well as our special guest, Brandon from Just My Opinion Reviews. We'll be diving deep and really biting into this episode of the zombies and hearing their thoughts on the episodes. But we'll also be talking about Shang-Chi and the box office results. Also, there's some rumors that the Russo brothers might not be coming back to the MCU and much more. So hope you all can tune in tonight. Link is in the bio, 6 p.m. See you all there, and it's going to be a fun time. But let's get into this breakdown. Just my initial thoughts. I said it last week, but I think I'm going to have to say it again. This is my favorite episode so far. I mean, I'm a horror fan, if you all know, if you're part of this community. I'm wearing my favorite, my favorite Avengers film and my favorite MCU film is Infinity War. So you're giving me callbacks to Infinity War. You're giving me my horror, fandom in zombies, which I love, the genre of zombies. And then the callbacks, the action, the kills, which we'll talk about. Listen, we always say, oh, Disney, Marvel, they won't go there. It's too dark. I mean, after this episode, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting Blade, chopping some heads off, seeing some blood all over the screen, which at least I hope so. But this episode had it all going for me. I really enjoyed it. We're going to break it all down here, but I thought this was a fantastic episode. If people are hesitant about What If, I don't know what the hesitancy is, other than it being animation and not thinking that it's connected to the MCU, which, listen, this series is very important to Marvel moving forward, but I thought it was fantastic. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. But let's break it all down as we open up, which, like I mentioned, my number one Marvel MCU film in the MCU is Infinity War. So we immediately pick up in the events of Bruce Banner making his way to Earth to warn Earth about Thanos coming to get the Infinity Stones as he goes into the Centaurum, and there's no Wong, there's no Strange. It's a very different world from when Bruce was here last, as Bruce comes across the Thanos' children, aka the Black Order. They say their spill and all that stuff, and they're interrupted by a hand coming out of a portal, and it is Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, Wong, and Strange. And Bruce is like, oh yeah, get him, Iron Man, do your thing. Wait, whoa, this is a little bit overkill, as it's revealed that they are zombies. What a great way to open up the episode. But we see this, one of the first of many great action moments and one of the first of many great kills, as Wong is attacking Banner. We see that Strange's cloak, his cape, comes and saves him. And listen. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with very much clarity. We see Wong's head get chopped off in a Disney animated Disney Plus show, ladies and gentlemen, which again, Blade, Deadpool, we don't think that Marvel's going to go dark. We don't think they're going to have the kind of graphic nature that we want to see. And if we are to think of anything, think of this episode, because I think that seeing heads chopped off is just a future that I hope to see in the live action MCU. We'll see what comes of this, but that's one of many heads being chopped off as we see Ebony Maw gets Banner, and then we see more cameos from our Avengers as Hope and Spider-Man comes into the mix, and then Hope chops off Tony Stark's head. 2 heads chopped off. Zombies, Infinity War. This is my favorite episode within 10 minutes of this episode, which was fantastic. I'm loving what I'm getting this episode so far, but we got many more to break down as we get the reasons of how this all started off. So we see that Hank, very similar to Ant-Man and the Wasp, he makes his way to the quantum realm to get Janet. Unfortunately, Janet, her brain has been corrupted by a virus. We see they make their way back to Earth. We see Scott gets attacked by them, thinking that Scott's dead, but we'll talk about Scott a little bit later. But that kicked off this virus. As we learned, within 24 hours, the entire Pacific Northwest has been affected by the zombie apocalypse. We see the Avengers try to help, but unfortunately, their help does not last long because tiny little miniature Hank Pym bites my favorite Avenger, Captain America, in the neck, and unfortunately now the Avengers are a part of the zombie horde, and now the world's going to be taken over. Very Walking Dead-ish here, but this is great here. This is just great callbacks after great callbacks. So we get the how to survive the zombie apocalypse courtesy of our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, very similar to Homecoming when he made his video and what we saw in Civil War. Just a great callback there. But we move forward and we get our A-team, right? We get our Avengers team in this universe, as it consists of Happy, who Happy has survived as he has Tony's gauntlet on his hand. We see that Kirk, which is from the Ant-Man franchise, is part of this crew. And we also see that there's Bucky, there's Sharon Carter, aka the Power Broker, and there's Okoye, which Okoye, and hearing her voice and her badassness, such a cool character. But this is a pretty interesting team, and this would just, I love this stuff because this makes me think, oh, if we can get these characters in live action and see them interact would be so fantastic. But we get the kind of the mission of this episode where they get a beacon from a person who's in Jersey who might have a cure to fix the zombie apocalypse, and we get some incredible funny bits here as they're making their way to the train station. As Peter Parker, as Okoye says, we need to split up to get everything started. We see Peter say to her, do you guys not have horror movies in Wakanda? She says, no, we don't have horror movies, but we have reality TV from America, which is just a funny burn. This is the comedy in this episode is fantastic. But as our team splits up and one team tries to get the train running, we get Bucky and Okoye, looking out the perimeter, but we see that Happy and Sharon Carter get attacked by Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and we see Happy gets bitten and becomes one of the infected. And this is where the action this episode just is over. It was just incredible. It was just so incredible to see as we see these kills, as Falcon gets into the mix, and we see him about to kill Falcon, but Okoye splits him in half, and we see a little bit of blood of that being split in half. And I love the moment when she says, I'm sorry, I know that was your friend, and you're probably sad. He's like, I should be sad, but I'm not, which kind of ties into, obviously, at that point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they haven't had their show. They're not brothers as they are now. So very funny moment as Bucky does not shed a tear of his buddy Falcon being taken out. And also, too, I want to not point out another kill, which, again, let me know in the comments your favorite kill. Happy gets his face blown off by Tony's gauntlet. Again, the kills in this episode was fantastic, but as we see Tony starting up the train, which I think might have been a callback to Spider-Man 2, with the train and everything. I don't know, I might be reaching there, but he gets the train going. We get a little bit of an action sequence here when we see the Cape fighting. We see Hope killing the zombies. Again, the action in this episode is off the charts, but one of my favorite moments here, ladies and gentlemen, we see Sharon Carter gets bitten by my favorite Avenger, Captain America, and we get Cap versus Bucky, which was so cool to see, and so many moments, and I can't leave out the blood. We see that Cap throws a shield at Bucky, which, by the way, was a callback to Captain America, Winter Soldier, when they were fighting the streets. One of the best, I think the best fight in the MCU still to date, even after Shang-Chi. He gets the shield, he throws it back at Cap, splits Cap in half. And again, if you notice, there was blood on the shield, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't blink out, they didn't blur out, they didn't, take out the blood and the violence in this episode, which I love, which I just, again, was just so incredible. And then they take it to another notch when Hope goes inside Sharon's mouth and blows her up from the inside, which was just fantastic. But unfortunately, we see that Sharon, or we should see, I should say, Hope gets a little bit of scratch on her arm, which means that she's going to be infected, which, speaking of, all the action was great, but then the episode shifts into more of the emotional beats, which really worked for me, as Peter talks about hope and having hope and losing people. He mentions Aunt May, he mentions his mom, his dad, Tony Stark, now Happy, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first official time that we've heard Uncle Ben in the MCU. I know there was like the reference to in Spider-Man Far From Home where we see the little Ben on his briefcase and whatnot, but this is the first time, let me know in the comments, that we hear the mention of Uncle Ben in the MCU, which I thought was cool. But nonetheless, again, going back to the emotional beats, we see Hope wants to make up for her mistake. She sacrifices herself. She grows into the mega Hope, the supersized Hope, and we see the score kicks in, the emotional kicks in. I'm like, dude, I'm getting emotional with this. Again, we only spend 30 minutes with these characters, but we know these characters from their previous films, which makes the show so incredible. If you've been on this journey for 13 years, you know these characters. So I love the moment. It was earned. It was emotional. Really good emotional moment there. I almost shed a tear. Let me know if you guys got emotional there. But we noticed that the zombies aren't entering the premises. That's because Vision's there, and then we get the explanation of why the zombies aren't there, because the Vision, the Mind Stone, is kind of controlling them and kind of keeping them from getting into Bay, and this is going to help them get the cure. But then we get really dark, ladies and gentlemen. We see Scott, he has survived, and the puns and the jokes and him losing weight but not losing his head. It was so great. And now, again, this is just leading to the way, okay, the Mind Stone, we can get people back and we can cure people. But then we see Bucky wants to get transport, and then he makes his way to finding T'Challa, which, again, talked about the emotion. Hearing Chadwick Boseman, who we just a couple weeks ago, it was a 1-year anniversary of him passing away. Hearing his voice, and there's a moment that I'll talk about here in a second, but just hearing his voice got me emotional. And we find out in this moment that it's a trap, that Vision has been luring people in to feed his bride, Wanda Maximoff, which was so terrifying when that moment happened, as we see Wanda hasn't eaten in days. And when that score kicks in and seeing her burst open the doors, take Kurt, Bucky's trying to shoot her, thrilling, scary elements there. I really love that. But unfortunately, we see, and it's a great setup here, we see Okoye, she actually gets taken out. We see T'Challa, Peter Parker, the Hulk, and Scott are trying to make their way out of there. We see that Vision kind of knows that he's been doing bad. He, literally plucks the Mind Stone out of his head, which is reminiscence to what Thanos said to him in Infinity War, and gives the Mind Stone to Banner. This is where Banner's like, I gotta save you guys some time, as Wanda tries to bite him, but the Hulk comes out, and we see another great battle, Wanda Maximoff versus the Hulk, as they fight it out, which was just a great moment to see, and who knows what the future holds for those two characters. But they're trying to escape. We see that at this point we have Spider-Man, T'Challa, and Scott, as we see this moment, which really got me emotional, just thinking of how much weight and how much this resonates to the real world. He says that death is not the end, which just hits on another level for the character T'Challa, but also obviously Chadwick Boseman. So just a great moment for a great character, and we'll see what they do with the passing on the baton of Black Panther and T'Challa. But again, I'm in the camp of recasting the character, because there's so much more lore and so much more story to go into. But again, just a great moment by hearing Chadwick Boseman. Him saying those lines really hit me emotionally. But as we wrap things up, and we see, at this point, Hope has awakened, and she throws a body at the Quinjet, but they ultimately do escape. They make their way to Wakanda, and again, it's more about the hope, and now we can cure people, but they make their way to Wakanda, which is a great callback to the beginning of this episode, because what did Bruce Banner come to Earth to do? To warn the world that Thanos is coming. Thanos is in Wakanda. He's only missing the Mind Stone, which they have in their possession. Great cliffhanger. What a great episode. Again, I can't let you all not forget how violent this episode was. 2 heads were chopped off. 2 people were split in half. There were emotions, there were stakes, there was comedy, there was action, there was battles. I mean, this was just a fantastic episode, and I want more of this, Marvel. I want more of this in my live action as well, Marvel. Not just on the animated front. Let's make some of this greatness come into the live action. Again, Blade, Moon Knight, the more violent, supernatural stuff. I want to see this action like I saw in today's episode on the big screen. So let's see what comes of it, but let me know what you all thought of. Again, your favorite moment, your favorite battle, your favorite zombie kill. Let's talk about it in the comments. And again, tonight, live Central Time, myself, Chris, and Brandon will be going live to talk more about this episode, to talk about some of the latest Marvel news, 6 p.m. Central Time. Link is in the bio. See you all tonight. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Before you head out, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell. That way you don't miss any of my other content. Hope you all are staying safe. Hope you enjoyed this review. We'll see you tonight, and we'll catch you on the next video.